You are welcome back to my channel. Let us quickly look at this issue involving Senator CRUZ, who is proposing a bill in the US Senate, trying to introduce a bill to tackle Sharia law and blasphemy in Nigeria. We're already seeing a series of reactions from Nigeria, particularly from the north, and a particular one has to do with a Twitter user that go by the name of Faris. He says Sharia law stays in Nigeria. He repeated it severally. I ended by saying that if you don't like it, you can leave. You begin to wonder, begin to ask, is Nigeria not a secular state? Do you impose Sharia on people? I want to believe that those who subscribe to it, those who are Muslim, are those it should be binding on. But again, let me bring another perspective of someone we should know better. Well, this is Bachi Ahmed on Twitter. He's saying, how do you possibly think you can stop the practice of Sharia law in Nigeria? He said, do you really use your PhD to read at all? He said, Sharia law is deeply rooted in Nigeria's constitutionally recognized legal system. It is not something that can be simply washed away by external influence. He go further than that, but the point here is, I want to say that it is quite unfortunate that those who drafted the constitution made it lopsided in nature. Because to have it, it was done under General Abdulsalami Abubakar, and you discover that just like Ahmed is, that Bashi Ahmed is saying, in the constitution of Nigeria, Islam is mentioned about 28 times. Sharia is mentioned about 13 times. Christianity is not mentioned at all. You begin to wonder, begin to ask, is that not a very good reason for people to agitate for a brand new constitution or for the country to divide? As far as I'm concerned, you cannot impose Sharia on me. You cannot take me to court and want to judge me with Sharia law. It is not possible. It can only apply to those who subscribe to it. But again, I decided that in Nigeria, we have criminal code and penal code. That is why I want you to watch this video of a Nigerian who is a Christian who was dragged to Sharia appellate court in Abuja over a dispute of debt. As we have it, the Sharia ruled against him, and the Sharia ordered that his property should be auctioned. His property in his shop, his goods should be auctioned, perhaps to settle the debt in question. But
yes, you can go to Kwale area council. I was in my shop 3 months ago. Some people just carry motor gun. Say they are for Sharia court of Appeal Gudu, that their chief litigation and chief registrar has auctioned my shop. I told them that I don't have any case with them. Why should they auction my shop? I built this church in 2012. I will rent their phone shop in number. I rent one to somebody. They said the person in the shop is showing them credit. I told the person owner, why don't you provide his goods? That the goods in that shop, they don't care about the goods. They say what they know is they want to take that shop. I tell the person should come to the court and tell the people I'm the owner of the shop. I go there, even though I'm a Christian. I tell them why should a Christian go to Sharia court? They say I must stop if I'm the owner, that they will leave me my shop. I take all the documents to them. Even when I reach there, they even see the document, say they will do investigation. All I see today, they just come here, carry paper come, say that I auction the shop, that they are being handed over because I'm a Christian, because I'm Igbo. They collect my shop. Sharia court, even if they will follow the law, as a Christian, what I have to do with Sharia court? They don't know what is happening in Nigeria. They carry my case there. Even when I appear, they did not listen to me. They bring the other judge, the judge that wants to ask what happened. They remove the judge, say that in charge of the who the moving judge. They remove the judge. The judge cannot tell my goods my shop for nothing. I done nothing. Even if I have case with them, I would have said that with me. But I don't have any case with them. I've not appeared before their court. I don't know commit anything. They just return my shop. They say because I am nobody. Nigerians help me, oh. Nigeria help me, oh. My life will finish, oh. EDM help me, oh. They collect my shop because I am a Christian. They show the Sharia court. I'm taking my shop. God help me, oh. 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 They collect my shop just to intimidate me. I have no case with them. If I don't have case, I will say that I win me. But I'm not being in their court and do any judge. They just collect my shop just like them. Just intimidation because of that man. I take the case to court. Judge collected the case and the judge said he has carried the case out because I am nobody. He said I cannot report this for the court. Judge, I saw judge come out my face. God help me. Woman right come assist me. Woman right assist me. Woman right assist me. Woman right assist me. I hope on God. I hope on God. I hope on God. Whoever that say you buy the shop, God will not let you take my shop. This is my sweat. This is my sweat. God help me. God help me. God help me. That you come and help people in this community. To know if the person that's in that shop is the owner of the shop. They do not make any inquiry. I think God to make inquiry before they do something. This court do not make any inquiry. They just go here, say that I go to newspaper, that I'm taking my shop. Nigerians help me, Nigerians help me, Nigerians help me, God help me, chief litigation, Sharia court of Papi Gudu, chief registrar, Sharia court of Papi Gudu, chief judge, Upper Area Court, they connected their ability, they connected their ability, they connected their ability, Upper Area Court, chief judge, Upper Area Court, they collided and collect my property. God help me, God help me, God help me, Nigeria help me, my life finish, my life finish, my life finish. I do that nothing, I do that nothing, because I'm a Christian. They take my case to Sharia court. They can't just go to Sharia court. Say Sharia court are taking my shop. They did not invite me. 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 God help me, God help me, God help me, God help me, my life finish, my life finish, God help me, God help me.
The question is it right to subject someone who is not a Muslim to Sharia law? I think it's a very big question that everybody needs to look into. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter the opinion of anybody, nobody can subject me to Sharia law because I'm not a Muslim, I'm a Christian. But again, that is why I'm even saying that the current constitution we have is not a true constitution that should govern the people in this country. Because this was merely imposed on Nigerians. It brings the one that brings to ask, how come the constitution will tell you that we the people of Nigeria came together to write that constitution? So having listened to him carefully, it brings the one that brings to ask, how can you subject a man to a law that he knows nothing about? Nigeria is a secular state. We have criminal code, we have penal code. But the question is, why will he impose penal code on someone who is not a Muslim? I understand that in recent past, we had a situation where it was touted that issue of Sharia would have been introduced in some part of southwestern part of the country, even in Lagos, in, of course, Oyo State. But I understand that the people vehemently rose against it. But the question is, even in Abuja, why will you drag someone who is not a Muslim to a Sharia court, a Sharia appellate court? I want to say it's unacceptable. Because that is where I stand and say we must, as a people, come together to reject this constitution. We must have a people's-oriented constitution that truly comes from the people, that represent the interests of the people. Not what we have currently that is imposed on the people. I must say that that constitution is imposed on Nigerians. Because there is no basis for saying that as a Christian, I should be subjected to Islamic law in litigation. As far as I'm concerned, it's unacceptable, and I think this is where everybody must rise to the occasion to address this issue. Now, when it comes to issue of blasphemy laws, we have seen in several instances where people have been lynched in Nigeria. And the question is, each time it happens, nobody is punished. People do it and go away with it. We cannot forget in a hurry the case of Deborah. As we speak, it doesn't record that anybody is on trial. And you call the country a secular state. So for me, I want to say that if you are a Muslim, I don't have issue with it. You can be subjected to the injunction of Sharia law. But as a Christian, I can never be subjected to such injunction by way of penal code. That is why you have criminal code. And I think at some point, if that is the case, we should even look at using the injunctions in the Bible to even make our own laws. Hence, the penal code is representing the interests of the Muslims. Because I must say that the people who came together to bring about the 1999 Constitution as amended we are using were not thoughtful at all. Because it is lopsided to the extent that in the whole of the Constitution, Christianity was not mentioned at all. A situation where, as we have it, Islam is mentioned about 28 times. And Sharia is mentioned about 13 times. And as we have it, all the Christian leaders, nobody is speaking to this issue. And if you go deeper into what brought about all this controversy, talking about the intention of Donald Trump to come to Nigeria to help to decimate Islamic terrorists. The question is, those who are now saying that the American interest is Nigerian resources, are we saying that the likes of Toji Bello, the likes of Ada Leru, all the bandits who have been wreaking havoc in different parts of the country, are we saying that if they are decimated by American forces, that those who suffer as a result of their activities, whether Muslims or Christians, that they will not be happy? And these are fundamental questions we should begin to ask ourselves. We want to believe that the likes of Toji Bello, Ada Leru, who operate in Zamfara and Katsina Axis, are in the category of terrorists that could be eliminated, neutralized by American forces. And if they do that, I want to say that it will be for the overall good of everybody, not just Christians, not just Muslims, everybody in the society. But at this point, I must say very big thank you for that. This is Sabla Bidan and Samatu.